exhibitions in the largest spectrum of the arts. It's very difficult to silo them into different compartments. So the arts in the complete holistic and integrated fashion, where we're looking at visual arts of photography, architecture, sculpture, performing arts of music, dance, folk traditions, lifestyle, rituals, the entire gamut of it, and look at the cross connections between the two. And I think it's very important to have this kind of an incubatory space for the arts, which is otherwise a largely outwardly manifestation, and IGNCA provides that platform. Now, the Southern Region Center was established in 2001 in Bangalore, and its mandate is over all the now five southern states of India, and it intensifies all these activities of IGNCA in these states. In the past, the center has done several interesting projects, which includes documentation of the temple traditions of Melkote, the mural paintings of South India, the Ganjifa cards and the digital documentation of all of that, vanishing folk traditions of Karnataka, the Adipatti Nayanmar fishermen ritual in Tamil Nadu, an entire video documentation of that, as well as the Apto Ariyama Soma ritual in Thrissur in Kerala. So a lot of video documentations, publications, all these are the outcome of IGNCA's work. And we are located outside the Bangalore University. For those of you who don't know where the campus is located, over a 10-acre campus there. And we have a fantastic library. Dr. Guha usually laments that Bangalore has very few library spaces. So we have a library there with about 15,000 books on art, culture, history, and religion, philosophy, and it's free and open to everybody, as also about 13,000 microfilms of rare manuscripts from different parts of India. And I do hope a lot of scholars do come, and several PhDs I think can be written just sitting there. So we want to open this up for people. Coming to the subject of today, this exhibition, Raja Deen Dayal, I think it's a fantastic tale of human struggle as well as triumph. Born in 1844 in a very middle-class family, a Jain family in Sardhana near Meerut, Uttar Pradesh, he went on to study civil engineering, something very forward-looking in his times, that too in Roorkee, and later joined the PWD department of the princely state of Indore. But his interest remained photography. And his work caught the attention of the Maharaja of Indore, Tukaji Rao Holkar, in 1870s, and he opened a commercial studio, his first commercial studio in Indore. Soon he began working with the Archaeological Survey of India, and which employed him to document the monuments of different parts of central India, from Gwalior, Khajuraho, Orchha, Omkareshwar, and also Indore, Jhansi, and so on. And very soon, he climbed the ladder of success, where he became the official photographer of several viceroys, like Lord Dufferin and Elgin, holding his fort amidst numerous European photographers. And 1887 was perhaps the pinnacle of his career, where he received the royal warrant of appointment as photographer to Queen Victoria. In 1885, he entered the service of the Nizam of Hyderabad, the 6th Nizam, Mir Mehboob Ali Khan, who took him under his patronage, and also gave him the title of Musawwir Jang Raja Bahadur, or the bold warrior of photography. He opened numerous studios in Secunderabad, in Hyderabad, a separate Zanana studio only to photograph the Indian ladies who would not make themselves visible to European men otherwise. And his major part of his life and patronage was in Hyderabad. And by 1905, Deen Dayal died in Mumbai. Now, this exhibition gives us all a first-hand look as to how India and Indians in the late 19th century looked, appeared, dressed, and so on. And what is very fascinating in the exhibition is that a lot of common Indians too posed for these photographs, despite numerous inhibitions that might have existed about getting oneself photographed in public. Two things that I would certainly want to mention here is, today, with a mobile phone, everyone is a photographer, and each one of us, carries a camera in our hands. But in all of this, we seldom kind of reflect as to what the journey of evolution would have been. What were the troubles that those earliest pioneers in this field might have faced? As someone who has worked in the field of audio archiving and digitization, I know that it was such a humongous task for artists of those times to have their voice recorded on gramophones and phonographs. And despite the primitive technology that Mr. Kumar mentioned, as also the societal inhibitions, they were taboos and superstitions, like if you get photographed, your lifespan would come down, or if you recorded on the gramophone, you would lose your voice, or the gods would be displeased with you. Despite all these challenges of the societal inhibitions, as also the technological, primitiveness, these pioneers went ahead and did what they did. And I think this exhibition celebrates that very spirit and that very legacy of Raja Deen Dayal. Over the next 1 month, please do spread the word, and all of you can partake of this feast of chronicles of India of the late 19th century. I place on record my immense thanks to Dr. Guha, Mr. Sudhakar Rao, Dr. Himani Pandey, and of course the entire team of NGMA. It's been such a pleasure working with you, Sir, Mr. Kumar, and Mr. Vijay Dhar, Rehana ji, and everybody here who have been a great source of support. And thank you all for coming here this evening. Thank you.
Words. Now I request Ms. Himani Pandey, Curator IGNCA New Delhi, to present the curatorial address.
Good evening, everybody. Whatever I had to say has been already said by Mr. Vikram Sampath, but I would just like to not bore you, because most of you would be knowing about Raja Deen Dayal. But I would like to touch upon some interesting aspects of his life and his character. Deen Dayal was, of course, a brilliant photographer, but he also had a very good business acumen and sense of marketing his work. Being an enterprising photographer, he knew that having a lady photographer would open the doors of his studio to the ladies of the traditional families who were mostly in Parda. So what he did was he hired an American lady, Miss Clark, for his Zanana studio. And he was also very clever. You know, what he was to do was that once he had photographed a lady and he developed the image, he would break that glass plate negative in front of his clients just to convince them that he was not going to keep anything of the ladies of the house, any images, and then the people would be very impressed. But actually, he was saving one duplicate copy for himself, which is very good, because otherwise we wouldn't have his works today with us. And what he would also do was that he would pick up the used perfumed buds of the Nizam and quietly, and then he would rub them again, behind the portraits before presenting them to the royalty. And of course, the Nizam would be very impressed that his wonderful portrait also had his wonderful, his most favorite perfume. So there have also been several myths connected with Raja Deen Dayal. When in 1988 this collection came, we were very scared to even touch or look at it, because people told us कि इसको जो भी देखता है वो मर जाता है. And then we were told stories about, how people who had curated this exhibition didn't live long. I do not know about these myths, but I have seen a couple of cases myself. My senior colleague, who exhibited this the first time in IGNCA in 1993, sorry, she died soon after. And much later, there was another very senior officer who was trying to take this exhibition out of the country for his own personal exhibition. He lost his job. So I hope I don't. So, this is, and later what happened was that Deen Dayal lost, I think, 2 of his sons, and which really shattered him. And he died a very unhappy man in 1905. As one shall witness in the exhibition today, Deen Dayal's work is not just beautiful photography, but also a visual documentation of history of his times, which makes his work even more important and meaningful. It is said that, one picture is worth 1,000 words. So I think there's no point of my talking too much about his work or the man himself. It's for you to see and decide for yourself that wonderful work that he has done. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your views. I now request Sri Sudhakar Rao, Chairman Advisory Committee NGMA Bengaluru, to give the presidential remarks.
Dr. Ram Guha, ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to you to the NGMA Bengaluru for this very exciting exhibition which has been put together by NGMA Bangalore in collaboration with IGNCA Delhi. Post what Sampath said and Mrs. Pandey said, I really have nothing to say, and that too when Ram is going to speak after me, except to reassure you all that I have already seen the exhibition. So there's nothing to worry, you're all safe, and please let it not dissuade you or in turn through word of mouth from anybody else from coming in. Like possibly each and every one of you, I too was an amateur photographer once, and I still recall that an uncle of mine using a Yashica camera completely mesmerized me by putting some dark screen behind me and having 3 or 4 of me in the same frame. That time when I was very, very young. That itself was very interesting and intriguing about photography. Then school leaving photograph, all the boys and girls were lined up for the picture, and the photographer put that black cloak on top of him, and somebody from the back said, hey, I'm getting scared, there are ghosts around. Somebody else said, Zorro has come alive again. So each time he would get ready to take the picture, we would all be bursting out laughing. And the third time he said, you guys are leaving school, and is this what school has taught you? At which point the principal got up and said, I'm getting away from here. I can't have some person who's not associated with the school make such a comment. I'm completely put off and ashamed of what you guys have done. So he was persuaded to come back and join, and the picture was finally taken. Each one of us looking as gloomy as possible because of that firing he got. So why I'm telling you this story is that a picture really depicts not just the technical qualities, but so many things. As Mrs. Pandey rightly said, more than 1,000 words. And I still remember this. So this, as a hobby, it continued for some time till the digital camera came, and I think being technologically challenged, I completely gave up the hobby. But if you go to the exhibition today to see what Deen Dayal's works are, it is just mind-boggling. You cannot believe that 100, 150 years ago, somebody could use what today would seem very primitive tools of photography to bring out such absolutely astonishing pictures. And I am indeed thankful to the IGNCA, and as already mentioned by Mr. Kumar, Mrs. Dipali Khanna in particular, because the truth is, for certain administrative reasons, the IGNCA had decided that the Deen Dayal exhibition will not travel to Bangalore. It just fortuitous that I know Mrs. Khanna well, so I called her and I said, what happened? She said, no, if you guys are really keen about it, I will restore it, and that's exactly what she did. And so I'm really thankful for the IGNCA for having been so large-hearted, particularly now that their own center has come here, which is being very ably managed by Sampath. In fact, the Brihadeshwara exhibition that he's now hosting actually was offered to the NGMA, and we had to sort of say that possibly NGMA is not the right forum. But in the meantime, he himself became a director of the Southern Region IGNCA, and now a fabulous exhibition on Brihadeshwara and its various aspects is on there. So thank you, Sampath, for your assistance, and Mrs. Pandey for coming all the way from Delhi. I wish you a very, very long life. Please don't this thing. Thank you all for coming, and enjoy the show. But let's now listen to Ram, who, as you know, is a wonderful speaker, apart from being an outstanding historian, and he has special interest in today's exhibition, and we shall hear some very interesting words of wisdom and appreciation from him. Thank you once again.
I now request Dr. Ramchandra Guha to give the inaugural address.
Thank you. I must first disabuse you all of the insinuation offered by Mr. Sudhakar Rao that I have a special interest in today's exhibition. It's a very general interest, and I'll explain. I am not a very visual person. I'm even more inept than Sudhakar. I could not even use a non-digital camera. I never write about photographs, films. My qualification, such as it is to be here today, is that of all the people in the room and almost all of the people in the colossal city of Bangalore, I may be the only person who lives, works, writes and dreams in the time of Raja Deen Dayal. I physically inhabit or virtually inhabit the late 19th and early 20th centuries. That's what makes me somewhat different and bizarrely different from the rest of you. The joke at home when I go to my study in the morning to work is, as my children would say, Appa has gone to spend the day with Rang and Tang. I'll explain. Rang stands for Rajaji, Ambedkar, Nehru and Gandhi, who, like Raja Deen Dayal, inhabited the world of the late 19th and early 20th century. Tang is an innovative variation on Rang, where Tagore replaces Rajaji. So, let me not speak about photography or the art and craft of Deen Dayal, except to say that, like Sudhakar, I was privileged to the exhibition beforehand, and it is absolutely stunning. I'm delighted that Himaniji was able to bring it here, that Sudhakar was able to oil the wheels of the creaking wheels of government, and whatever ban that existed on it coming to Bangalore was lifted. So it's absolutely fascinating. I want to say something about the social conditions that produce art of this quality. And I'll begin by quoting a remark of the great American writer Gore Vidal, whom some of you would have read.